come on in, my friend. We've got one of the Deepnote team here.
Hello.
Oh, God. How are you?
It's a good start.
Let me give you this. It's always a good start. How's life? How's the hack?
Good. Team's just started, so it's always great. I really like the ideating moment of all of this. As thinking like
I hear that American accent coming in.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are we flying in from?
Actually, I just moved back to Europe from Bay Area.
Congrats.
San Francisco.
Welcome home.
Yeah. Yes. I feel at home in Europe.
How's the Bay compared to Europe right now?
Bay's crazy.
It feels like it's back in full swing.
Yes, correct.
AI's come home.
Yeah, it's come home. It was great because I just moved there when Bay Area was kind of going downhill, and I moved back.
They were really on the ropes, weren't they?
Yeah, it was
back
sad.
end, back end of
no
COVID.
events, nothing. But now it's back in full swing. It's great to see the energy. I've been once ChatGPT released the original hackathons that were at the one of the most famous hacker houses. It was great to see Andrei Karpathy and Sam Altman just coming in to actually see how the technology is being utilized, because they also they didn't know where this is going and what the applications can be.
And so they got boots on the ground and actually trying to figure out how people are using it.
A lot of top executives were.
How interesting.
Yeah.
You think we need more of that flavor here?
We need, first of all, we need bigger companies in Europe to facilitate that, but yes, we need more of that spirit.
Speaking of bigger companies, Deepnote, tell me a little bit about it.
Yes, so Deepnote is a data workspace for teams that solve data problems, which is currently all the teams in the world. We focus on providing a unified workspace where you can connect all of your data together and then analyze it with AI and then collaborate on it with your team.
Why is it so important today?
It's very important because any problem now is a data problem. And then previously, if you were an engineer, you might have needed a data scientist to help you out with, and you still do. But more increasingly, you can use AI copilots and agents to help you solve things.
How often, not how often, but how soon do you think we're going to be able to reach your average human being that isn't a data scientist will be able to use a copilot of some capacity to actually understand the data that they're dealing with, their ingest?
So it depends on the data complexity. I think there's kind of multiple stages. For a basic CSV, we're already there, so you don't need anything else. For compound systems that are you need to connect multiple data sets from multiple sources, assuming those sources can be connected easily, I think we're halfway there. And then there's the last stage where HubSpot is never going to give you all their log data, because why would they do that if an AI agent can replace HubSpot? So we would have to teach agents to navigate that complexity and making the judgment call whether they have enough data to answer a question, which humans do, and AI agents currently don't.
Do you feel like there's a context prompting that has to come into this so that we understand how to prompt the LLM to get out the right outputs?
So yes and no, because there's two schools of thoughts here. It's either do we pull anything into the context of the LLM? And I think we're going more into that layer, or this yeah. So because when this started out, it was a lot of retrieval as a bottleneck play. Right now, companies would rather pay more for the LLM and overpay the tokens price, so to reduce the complexity of their stacks is what I'm seeing. But to your second point, I think it's important to connect the data context and to provide it to the LLM. So let's say what we do at Deepnote is once you connect all your data, once you build your semantic layer, which is also very important, so the AI agent actually knows what is your source of truth and how you define, let's say, weekly active users or something else.
Is that as quite simple as a meta prompt, or is that something that you've worked with the LLM or the agent to riff on and sort of get to a point where it understands everything?
It's more complex than a meta prompt, is what I can say. Yeah.
And so at Deepnote, you're helping both data scientists as well as your average users understand their data.
Correct.
How does it do it?
Very good question.
Different models, different context protocols.
It's actually very important on a technical level to understand how much of a context you need to give, because ideally you give it all, but even if you give it all, then important data gets kind of lost in the noise. But also on the other hand, if you provide less context, then it's cheaper to run, especially if you're providing service to, let's say, 500,000 users as Deepnote is. So there is a balance to this, but what we focused on is like the first part is you have data, you don't know what to do with it, and that's most of the users. So for these people, we have the Deepnote agent that helps you build like kind of the first rough end-to-end workflow that you would have. And then you have the data teams that are more sophisticated, and they know what to do with their data. They perhaps like either struggle connecting all their data and analyzing it, or then just making their analysis recurring, dependent on other workflows, triggering different actions, and being more agentic. And in that case, it's more about like, how do we help them collaborate? How do we help AI and the person collaborate within like one context of one data workspace?
How are you seeing people deal with the agentification of workflows? Are you finding they're getting lazier in the way that they approach the work, or are you finding that actually they are doing more with it?
It's half and half. So well, I actually see like three groups. Ones are like one group, they just do not want to do anything with AI, and unfortunately, there's like quite a lot of them.
Really?
Yes.
And so it's a learning curve to onboard them in.
Correct.
Or is it
It's more of not a learning curve. It's more of like, can you actually convince somebody that AI would be good for them? Then
how is it not?
Well, you have people with all the technological advances. You had people that kind of resisted it. So, and it's still like very prominent in the engineering community as well. Then you have the second bucket of people that use AI. They're kind of using AI sporadically, and they overestimate they're overconfident about how well they can accomplish a task because now they have AI. And so they tend to make a lot of mistakes in production. And then you end up with like a deleted database with a prompt. So that's what also happens. And then the third one is really kind of the power users of AI that are more of a generalists, and then they can combine. And then it gets if you have a sense of taste and then a good execution skills, then you're very powerful now.
How important is taste today?
Very
the
important.
word gets thrown around.
I would say it's like one of the main differentiators now is like to have the sense of taste to be able to execute and distribute.
Okay, I don't think I have taste. I'm working on it. How do I refine taste?
I don't think you can.
So it's either you've won or you've lost.
Yes. No, I think taste is a pattern because I think we can teach. Well, this is important. I think with a lot of this like UI generating things, right? They've learned on open source libraries or like libraries out there, and then you see them having the same gradients and components. So this comes with like from a singular library that was done in like 2010s. But I think as we go and as we refine, if you put in the reinforcement learning approach to AI, like provide a reward function to something that people rate as beautiful, like that can definitely be learned with AI. And as a human person, I think just like go and see more beautiful things.
Get inspiration from the outside world, bring it into the engineering context.
Copy it. It's fine.
We love a copy of a copy
Exactly.
of a copy. Everything feels like a remix.
Yes. But add something new every time you do.
Okay, we were chatting off camera around scaling laws, and you were like to me, no, it's sort of played out. We don't actually really know where it's going. Can you explain to me the mental model of what you're thinking?
So Google provided that with their Chinchilla project when they're like, here is the curve, like they're scaling lows to AI, and then like we don't actually need a lot of data to be able to scale or a lot of compute. That got reverted and then got reverted back. So I would let the specialists to play it out and battle it out. What I'm seeing in the industry right now is, if you look with the recent release of OpenAI with GPT-5, it's a compound system, which means like it's been trained to understand how complex of a task you've given it, and then what is the right model or what is the appropriate thinking time that it should spend on that model. The same with Anthropic. They've just released Skills, which basically helps the model to log their skills, kind of information they think of that's creative, and log it to then build upon and reduce maybe context size that they need.
And so like you defined it as observability?
No, I define it as a system that's more of an end-to-end rather than just like a bigger, beefier model. And if you optimize for the whole system, then you can be cost efficient as well as fast, and you don't need to think for 2 minutes to think what is 2 plus 2. So that compound system is more efficient in the industry.
I think it's one of the banes of my life is when I ask it to do math, it just takes forever because it kicks in reasoning, and it then is predicting the next word, and I'm like, it's just 2 plus 2.
I find so at Deepnote, let's say we have a internal model selector that defaults to either, let's say, Haiku, which is a smaller, more efficient model, or
Sort
more
of like
compound.
how Perplexity chooses.
Correct, automatically. So this is something especially hard for data tasks because 2 plus 2 is very simple. But then, build an end-to-end an analytics system for my marketing data is more complex. So well, this is a very kind of cut and dry example, but then it gets very difficult in the middle of those two.
I want to switch gears completely. Do you end up hacking now in your role? Do you get to
I wipe
hack
code
about?
a load.
Yeah?
So yes. So with Deepnote, actually.
No,
so
so you
that's
can
good.
vibe code within Deepnote.
Correct. Yeah, with Deepnote Agent, you can do that. And then my typical use cases is because we have all the data connected. I'll see a person's ID whenever they enter the website, and then I can attribute it to wherever else they've come from, as well as let's say what actions they have taken within Deepnote, and then we optimize for marketing spend and stuff like this. So we build dashboards and then we build analytics engines for
And
that.
is that just the whole team is open to doing that?
Everybody needs to wipe code, and then most people should code.
I like it.
Yeah.
How are you finding Europe at the moment?
Great, it's very promising. I see a lot of investment and interest, and then I see, if you look at the latest myriad of startups, then we're doing good in the startup scene. On the public markets scene, like public companies, we're not doing great. So
We're
I would
working
love to see
towards
more.
it. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight.
There is more we can do, definitely.
What do you think we can do?
So there's kind of 5 things. It depends, if we have time.
Oh, you
for it,
sat
but-
here and thought about this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So first of all, it's more investment into AI. I think if you look at a seed stage startup, they have
And is that
more
coming from
investment.
VCs or is that coming from government grants?
Both. So Europe is actually overspending China in terms of private market investments. Good enough. Still not as good as US, but good enough. But then if you look into the size of the check, a US startup has much more
high
to work with.
valuations, high funding.
And then they'll just snatch up a Series C startup from Europe, which is not great. The second one is more sovereign AI. So let's say France, I think they invested exorbitant amount of money sovereign AI. So that's good. The third one is more of computing. So US is losing to China. We're losing to US in terms of the compute. We've invested 20 billion, which is a lot of money into building giga computing centers. But
It doesn't outspend the US's trillion.
yes, it does not. And then the problem is that we also don't have enough energy. And Europe is famously anti-nuclear. So then you're you have all these centers, but they don't have enough electricity. So I don't know what that's going to happen. And then the fourth one probably is the attitude. So we're government especially, we have so many regulations that US startups just don't have to wrestle with. And then you come out of your incubator and you get slapped with GDPR, UAI Act, and all of these things that US startups just don't have. And so it's just less straightforward to innovate.
I had Andreas on the show. I think I've got him next week as well. And we were talking about EU Inc. and how important it is for Europe. And it feels like a real bottleneck for early stage. You will have an influx of funding. You will be able to allocate more capital. But most importantly, you can start moving faster from day one and be a global company from day one, right? You can have American investors quite easily versus having to do the Delaware flip, as most people find doing today, which can be expensive.
Correct.
And so I feel like we're in a position sometimes where we just put the brakes on ourselves. And it's not about, I don't know about you, but it feels like I don't want to take them all the way off. There's some things we do really right. There's, whether that's the culture aspect of it, but it's also equally as important to let the horses run because otherwise we're playing catch up consistently.
I think the recent policy improvements with EU are in the right direction because let's say to your point with the brakes, people in Europe value work-life balance, and so then the EU people are like, okay, we can get them to work more, so they have to be more efficient per hour they work. So they have
That's
to
an
use more
interesting
AI.
way of looking at it, actually, right?
Yeah.
Versus like just make them work longer.
Correct.
But I think this idea of 996 or founder mode has always existed.
That is
I've
true.
always said it on stream as like it's just passion. It's like how bad do you want it? Like how much are you willing to invest in the time, in the startup, in the baby that you're producing? And like if that's not enough, then it's not enough.
Correct.
But I don't know how we build an environment where that is celebrated.
So here's the thing. I think Deepnote is a U.S. company. So and then we have people in Europe. It's very hard to find people in Europe who want to work U.S. hours, or it's not even about the long hours. It's about the attitude. It's about like, hey, can we have this meeting today in 10 minutes? Or right now, can we huddle in Slack, or can we plan it to next week? So a lot of this is an attitude problem. There are still people here that can think that way, or you can take the other route that Deepnote did. They hired me from San Francisco, so they relocated me back.
Just relocated.
So
you back.
literally,
Take
like
someone,
just
bring
import
the talent.
Yes, import European talent back to Europe. So.
I love it. Look, this has been an absolute pleasure. Like,
Likewise.
if we've got time at the end of the day, we'd love to have you back on.
Perfect.
This has been awesome.
Thank you
Thanks so
so
much for the
much.
time. Do you want to shout out Deepnote?
Yes, if you
Straight
need
into the camera.
Perfect. So if you need better Jupyter that's for the next decade, that has AI Copilot features, a lot of connectors, and is used by 500,000 people, then download Deepnote today.